Hey, welcome. Today, we're diving into some really cool science that actually starts in a place we all know pretty well, the kitchen. It's a story that kicks off with a simple question, and believe me, ends with a brilliant solution that could help protect our health. So let's get right into it. I mean, that's a pretty startling question, isn't it? We buy these beautiful copper pots, they look amazing, they cook great, but what if they're actually leaching stuff into our food? That's the exact question we're going to dig into. Now, to be clear, copper itself isn't the bad guy here. Our bodies actually need it. It's an essential nutrient. But, and this is a big but, it's all about balance. There's a really fine line between getting what you need and getting way too much, which can be seriously toxic. And that, right there, is the copper conundrum. So how do we make sure we get just the right amount? And more importantly, how do we avoid accidentally getting too much from things we use every single day? So yeah, we need to be clear. Too much copper is not a small problem. It's been linked to some really serious health issues. We're talking everything from kidney damage to neurological diseases. And one of the sneakiest ways this happens, cooking acidic foods, think tomatoes, lemons, that kind of thing, in unlined copper pots. The acid literally pulls the copper right out of the metal and boom, it's in your dinner. So you might be thinking, okay, if this is a known risk, why don't we just test for it? Well, it turns out we just haven't had the right tools for the job. Let's take a look at why the old way of doing this was so difficult. Up until now, if you wanted to measure copper in something, you had to send it to a lab. And in that lab, you'd find these massive, super complex, and incredibly expensive machines. Not exactly something you can carry around with you. Think about that for a second. The old way means you need a giant machine, a dedicated lab, a specially trained person to even run it, and a whole bunch of complicated prep work. It's slow, it's expensive, and it's totally impractical if you just want to check, the water from your tap or the soil in your garden. But what if you could take all that power, all that sensitivity from the giant lab machine and shrink it down into something you could hold in your hand? Well, believe it or not, that's exactly what a team of scientists went and did. They call it a modified carbon paste electrode, or MCPE for short. You don't have to remember the name. What you need to know is that it's this affordable, totally portable, and super sensitive sensor built for one job, finding copper ions. It's the simple, elegant solution everyone's been waiting for. And look at this. This picture just says it all, doesn't it? You've got the new sensor, a reference electrode, you dip them into whatever you're testing, and boom, you get a reading. That is it. No massive machine, no lab coats required. It's incredible. Okay, so what's the secret sauce here? How does it actually work? Well, the magic is in this special little molecule they mix into the sensor paste. It's called an ionophore, but you can just think of it as a copper magnet. It's got this perfect shape that just grabs onto copper ions, and only copper ions, and ignores everything else. It's a perfect lock-and-key system. And this is so cool, you can actually see it working right here. On the left, that's the sensor surface, all clean. Now look at the right. That's after it took a dip in a copper solution. All those bright white spots, those are the copper ions, caught red-handed by the sensor's surface. It's amazing visual proof. Okay, so a cool idea is one thing, but does it actually work, when the rubber meets the road? Well, the researchers put this little sensor through its paces with some really tough tests to see if it was fast, tough, and accurate. And the results? Oh yeah, they were pretty amazing. First off, speed. How fast? Try 24 seconds. A stable, solid reading in less than half a minute. Compare that to waiting days for a lab result. Then there's how long it lasts. Get this, a single sensor paste is good for 79 days. 79. That's almost 3 months of reliable use from one simple setup, which makes this thing incredibly cheap to run. But here's the kicker, and this is probably the most important part. It's super selective. Remember our little copper magnet? Well, it works like a charm. Even if a sample has other metals in it, like zinc or lead, the sensor just ignores them and zeroes in on the copper. That means no false alarms, just results you can trust. So the sensor crushed it in the lab. It passed every test with flying colors. But now for the moment of truth. Could it actually solve the problem that started this whole thing? It was time for the cookware experiment. So the scientists took an unlined copper pot and added an acidic solution to mimic food. And wow, just look at the difference here. At room temperature, they measured about 0.18 milligrams of copper. But when they cranked up the heat to a normal cooking temperature, that number shot up to nearly 0.8 milligrams. That is over 4 times more copper getting into the liquid just from heating it up. After seeing that, the scientists didn't mince words. Their conclusion was blunt, and I'm quoting them directly here. Utilizing copper utensils poses a risk to human health. This isn't just some theory anymore. They measured it. It's a real, tangible risk. And this is so much bigger than just a single cooking pot. What these scientists have built is a tool that could be used to protect our health in so many ways, way beyond the kitchen. So let's just recap what makes this thing such a game changer. 1, it's affordable because it's made from really simple stuff. 2, it's portable, so you can take it and use it literally anywhere. And 3, it's accurate. You get results you can actually rely on. And it's not just for kitchens. The team already took it out for a spin in a totally different field. They used it to measure copper pollution in farm soil, which is a huge environmental issue. So this little sensor could be a powerful new tool for farmers and environmental scientists, too. And that just leaves you thinking, right? This whole journey started with a simple kitchen pot. It really makes you wonder, what other hidden dangers are out there, all around us, just waiting for a simple, smart piece of science like this to drag them into the light?